Hey guys, Lord here, back again with another review. Today I'll be taking a look at the McFarlane Toys DC Multiverse Mongul MegaFig. Now before we get into the meat and taters of this review, kindly moving Mr. Mongul out of the way here for just 1 second, so we can take a look-see at both the front of this very massive packaging. There you go, this is DC logo, it says Mongul. There. I don't know if this is Rebirth or what, but I'll make sure that's corrected in the title. And there's an image of Mongul on the back. Looking pretty sweet. And some cross-sell stuff on the bottom. And then more Mongul stuff on the side, maybe. Maybe not. I don't know. But this box is freaking huge, and you know what we do with boxes around here. There. Hopefully I didn't wake anyone up doing that. That said, bringing Mongul back into frame here. Leaning him up against the backdrop, because he is a little tricky to stand. Little Mongul, but not too bad. That said, keeping it with tradition here, if I can get it off the floor, geez. Comes with a collectible trading card, which is literally upside down. Alright. No, I had it right. Dang it. Featuring the same picture from the back of the box, I think. Question mark. It almost looks different. And on the back, there's a bio that you can pause and read at your own leisure. That said, I believe that this is the Mongul who is, not the Mongul who was. What does that mean? This is the OG Mongul son. So the Mongul we all know and love, that usually rocks a purple getup, gave birth to this little turd who in turn killed his own father and took over Warworld, which is where Mongul reigns supreme and whatnot. He is also a Jack Kirby original character and part of the whole New Gods Darkseid family tree, so that's pretty cool. That said, I believe he's Darkseid's either nephew or cousin or something like that. They look very similar, Mongul and Darkseid. But I learned all this from the DC Infinite Hour podcast, which features Brad the DC Universe Geek, Ahsoka the Geek, and a guy named Rob whose channel name escapes me at the moment, but he has a really sick Instagram feed, really good photos. Not like Dio stuff, but really good like showcases of figures and whatnot, so check that out. It's on YouTube, the DC Infinite Hour podcast. They just did their top 10s and whatnot on the last episode. It's a really good episode. That said, Mongul of course comes with a hockey puck display stand. It's a trademark for this line, but he doesn't really need it. He has a little trouble standing, but can get it to work without that. So bringing Mr. Mongul in a little closer here. Really cool looking figure. Not in my mind's eye view of Mongul. Again, I much prefer the, I guess, the look Mattel gave him with the purple and whatnot. But again, that is this guy's father, supposedly, so probably never rocked that look before. That said, my first experience with Mongul, much like many a DC Universe character, was actually Batman the Brave and the Bold. That's when I first saw Mongul, Etrigan, Deadman, the Spectre, the Question, Phantom Stranger, the Creeper even, and good old Mongul and Steppenwolf, actually. I don't think Darkseid was in that series. Metallo was, and he looked really weird. Superman was very underutilized in that series, and so was Robin. He actually came back with like a crazy Nightwing costume. I'm going on a tangent, but that was a great show. An outrageous show, I might even say. But he was also in an episode of Justice League Unlimited, Mongul, or Justice League, the OG series, and maybe even Superman, the animated series. The episode I'm thinking of is The Man Who Owns Everything, or Has Everything, something like that, where Superman goes to Warworld and kicks the crap out of Mongul. And I believe in Young Justice he was voiced by Keith David, so that's pretty sweet. But as far as this guy's articulation goes, his head is on a double ball peg. You can get enough out of that. It's okay. It's not great. Nothing to write home about, but it does pose. Does tilt a little bit. Does rotate. It's kind of locked in by all this stuff going on around his head. So be careful. You don't want to wear any of the paint off doing that. In fact, this little chin strap thingy looks like it's not glued or something, but I think it's probably fine. It's supposed to be there like that. His shoulders can go out to the side. Back down. Forward and back. He does have that butterfly thing, but you don't get a lot out of it. He's got a swivel at the elbow with a hinge. It gives you about 90 degrees, I think. Yeah. A little bit flat on the back. They could have rounded this out. It would look fine, but it is what it is. He's got a hinge in the wrist with a swivel. I will say on this side, I actually had to heat mine up, but it does work now. So that's all fine and dandy. Fine and dandy. Really tight elbows on this guy, jeez. And I actually have his arms posed a little bit here because they do stick out to the side a little bit. I think this is straight. Double check that. I guess it is. Very much a tight figure on a package. Very, very tight indeed. Torso is on a ball joint. Single ball. Does rotate around. This is pretty much like the Overkill figure from Spawn I looked at many, many months ago for, I think, was it my 10-year anniversary week-long marathon extravaganza? Thought I'd forget that, wouldn't you? Or didn't you? Man, I was all ready to be all accomplished and I still screwed it up. Oh well. It is what it is. He's got this little tuber on his back and it's not glued into anything. So I don't think it's supposed to be. But just be careful with that. You don't want to break that thing off. It's very thin. But it's like a little tuber that kind of forms a spine on his back there. So just be wary about that. You're posing him. Don't pull on that. I mean, it's in a crevice, but just be careful. Hashtag don't break your toys. His hips can kick out. Barely. A little bit. That's better than some, though, I guess. It's Mongul. How much do you need him to do? He does have a forward and a back. He's got a thigh cut, actually. Believe it or not. Not too bad. This side's a little tighter, but it does work. He's got a double knee. I'm going to use this side because the other side's really freaking tight. There you go. Gets enough range for a big dude. A little chunky down here, not going to lie. That could have been cleaner. Especially since, what is it, Grifter, the last one of these we looked at? Really clean cuts. And then for his ankles, he just has the ankle hinge with the rocker, which isn't too steep. And he's got a toe hinge, which is kind of loose on this side. Kind of on this side. I'd say it's a little better on this side than this side. But no like swivel down here. Unless it's stuck on both of mine. But I don't think there's anything going on up there, dude. I think that is a solid piece. It looks like a ball, but I don't think it is a ball. So I'm not quite sure what's going on with that. Kind of a missed opportunity since it would have been hidden by his boots, but it is what it is, I'm afraid. So he's going to be a little limited as far as like wider stances are concerned, but it is just Mongul. You really need him to be balancing on one foot? Probably not. Maybe in some kind of charge pose, but I think you can do enough with this guy. The thing I want to do is I want to do the... I wonder if I can do it. Hold on, let me take him off cam for a sec and see if I can pull this off. So I might be able to. Maybe not. We're gonna find out. We're gonna find out together. We're gonna do it live. Like Bill O'Reilly. I don't know if that's an appropriate reference anymore or not. And nope. I can't put him in the freaking tough guy pose. If he had another elbow joint, that would have worked. But unfortunately, I can't do the fist in the hand pose with this guy without some modifications of some kind, which I'm not going to be bothered to do. Yeah, that's unfortunate. I wish you could bend that a little more at the elbow. Yeah, you can't pull that off. That sucks. That's a bit of a spirit breaker. But whatever, it is just Mongul. He's going to be standing there looking awesome on my shelf, so he'll get the job done. I do actually really like the colors on this guy. I know some people don't care for the green, but it kind of looks like it matches the rest of his armor, so I don't know about all that, but yeah, I could definitely see this guy turned into a dark side at some point. I could definitely see them reusing these parts. Or even to give us another Bane, maybe, because the torso and the legs are really smooth, and I know how people really want like a classic Bane. That would definitely work, although I think they'd probably reuse the Bane we already got first, but definitely think this guy will work for a dark side. Whether it's from McFarlane or a customizer does it, I think it'll look really cool. But as it stands for Mongul here, I think he's one of the better DC Multiverse figures to come out from ye old 2022. I don't know. But getting ready to do my top 10s here. I know I'm late to the game on that, but unlike everyone else, there's no ad in front of this video. So if you hit that subscribe button, maybe I could make a little extra money, a side hustle as it were, from the channel at some point. But time will tell, I guess. So before this review drags on any longer than it already has, let's now move on and take a look at some size comparisons. First up, here is Mr. Mongul alongside a couple other mega figures from the McFarlane Toys DC Multiverse line. Now, Gorilla Grodd's a page punchers, but it's the same frickin' thing, let's face it. Needless to say, the reason I pulled him out is because I'm very curious to know how big that new Calabac mega figure's gonna be when it finally shows up. I'm hoping it's about that size, because if Mongul is gonna get made into a dark side at some point, that is like a borderline perfect scale. Speaking of dark side, we have the Snyderverse dark side from the Justice League Snyder cut, and I'm sorry, but that figure kind of sucks. Like, compared to what we got this past year or even the year before that, I don't know, man. That thing just seems to be worse and worse and just ain't doing it for me anymore. I think the Steppenwolf's a much better movie mega figure than he is, or even the King Shark, who can't really move his legs. That said, as far as scale between Darkseid and Mongul goes, I think that's better if it was flipped. I think Mongul should be a little shorter than Darkseid, but if, again, we get a Darkseid that utilizes this Mongul buck, I'm not going to complain about it. And last, but certainly not least, we have our two regulars, the Mythic Legion's Brother Mandibulus, Living Spawn, who's not towering over everyone today because, haven't you been paying attention? Mr. Mongul is a MegaFig after all. So with that being said, time to wrap things up with some final thoughts. Overall, and aside from the limitations as far as posability is concerned, this frickin' Mongul dude, how much articulation do you need to enjoy this figure? In my opinion, he doesn't need to do the Marilyn Manson. In fact, not every figure needs to do the Marilyn Manson. I don't get what that mentality is all about. I think it's stupid, I think it's silly, I think it's ridiculous, but I guess at the end of the day, to each their own. And at the end of the day, I got a really awesome Mongul figure for a really affordable price. Between 30 to 40 bucks, I think you get what you're paying for here. Yeah, it's hindered. Yeah, it's a little light, and I forgot to mention this before, but he does feel a little bit rotocasty, if that makes sense. Much like the Overkill I took a look at during the Overlord Productions 10-year anniversary week-long marathon extravaganza. That said, though, I don't mind that because it means that he's not going to get loose over time like Man-Bat, who is fixed, but still. I can't say that he was not a bitch to stand during his review, can I? But as far as Mongul is concerned, I think if you want a Mongul figure that looks freaking cool, I mean, look at that head sculpt, man. He just looks like an arrogant D-bag a-hole, doesn't he? And poses well enough for Mongul, we'll say, not for Spider-Man, because, well, he's not flipping Spider-Man. Then this is definitely Yo Man, and I believe I got this guy off Amazon. He might have been on a bit of a discount, not too sure, but I'm sure you might be able to find him for a little bit of a discount nowadays since he has been out for a while, so I would highly recommend this one. So with that being said, I hope you guys enjoyed this review. If you're so inclined, please don't forget to comment, like, subscribe, and hit the bell so you know whenever I upload more reviews like this one. If you haven't already, please hit me up on Instagram at Overlord Productions. But as always, keep the comments civil, because the world sucks enough as it is, especially when, God, I forgot how bad that old Darkseid figure was. And until next time, I'll catch you guys later.